Alright. I think we're good, and I did it again. Alright, guys. My tablet. So, today I think I'm going to work on the book textures for the bookshelves. We'll see how far I get. I might finish it up, or not. I did, since the last time I worked on this last week, I did bake an ID map, in Maya, for this. So I can quickly throw various colors down and start to get, some color and stuff on here without having to actually like physically hand paint the base colors in, which saves a lot of time. So let's get started. I'm gonna obviously I have the opacity map in here still, and I just have a base color down here right now. Just let me just throw that out. Oops, and already noticing I forgot to mute myself. 2 streams in a row. Alright. So let's grab... I'm resampling some colors off of these. Oops. Let's just kind of grab a medium kind of tannish color. And now to add, to use that ID map, we will mask with color selection. Then we'll go to our color selection, and we'll pick a color, and then it should pop up our ID map, and let's say the yellow ones, we want to be that color. So you can see how it gives me a real quick way to throw some base colors down. Now, I probably should put these... Let me actually go back. Probably should do these in folders. That way I can mask stuff. And I'm just going to name them by the channel that they are, I guess. Okay, so let's another one. Actually, just duplicate this. And we will make this one blue. Second. That did not update my color pick. Oh, I forgot to remove that. There we go. This will be green. this color, this orange brown area. And we will go with red, purple. There we go. Let's leave this. Oops. This one is really deep brown. Make this like a really cracked, worn leather in a bit. Same probably with these over here. A lot of these are going to get kind of a cracked, worn leather look. Yellow. Find like a reddish tone. I love when you are trying to find a particular color, you find a color you like, and then you release your mouse, and your finger moves as you release the mouse, and then you lose that color. Hey, how's it going? It's going pretty well here. Just kind of working on finishing up this texture I started last week. Let's give this its own color. Good. Hey Zukin, how's it going? I am going to have to blur. I'm guessing my ambient occlusion that is coming in. A little strong. So we'll do that in a second. Let's finish setting up these base colors. Oops, what am I doing? And the color for this was red. Alright, so let's copy and paste this. I'm just going to call this one paper because I know this is going to be my paper layer. Normally I would name these what I'm making, but they're all like leatherish bound books, so typing leather bound book and a bunch of different colors would not necessarily help me any differently, so. Alright. Use that as my base color for the paper. And now all the paper's gray. Although I'm going to probably have to do multiple layers to get the line work right. Okay. Ooh, that one does have a little boot. I didn't realize it rotated that one slightly. Are you going to add titles or just anonymous background? Are you talking about like the background, like right now with the opacity? Or are you talking about just the titles on the layers themselves? Because right now I'm just keeping the titles what I'm using for the color channel, because they're all essentially the same type of material. That's gonna bug me. I'm gonna have to fix that. Darn it. I'm trying to think if I want to do that right now, or do I want to just... I might just fix this portion later by itself, because it's a pretty small area, and I don't feel like baking all this stuff again. Right now. Nah, I mean, where are you thinking of adding titles to the books? And the books and the spines? I don't think I'm going to use titles. Because it's gonna, the potential that we're gonna be able to read it anyways is gonna be pretty small. Well, I'm looking at a bunch of just kind of old leather bound books as examples, and I have a bunch of different decorative alphas and stuff like that. So I'm going to probably do some like gilding type stuff like that to kind of decorate it. I don't think I'm going to put the names of books on there because it just makes it more evident that it's a repeating part of the texture. So I think I'm just going to kind of try to stick to designs for now. Wonder if you could add title sec. Yeah, I mean that could be something. Although that's going to be decals on top of decals, which I mean you can do. I might actually use something like that to do the inlet, like for the shelves if we're doing it with this style of just kind of projected decals. So we'll see how that turns out. Let me get back to finishing these initial colors. That book being rotated when I didn't realize I rotated it is really throwing me off. It's gonna bug me. And color pick. What color we haven't used much of. It's a different tone of brown, but I already got enough browns. Let's find you're just a pinch brighter and a little more saturated than that. Alright, now let's give it its own ID. Oh, what haven't I used? Light blue? Hold it a second. Did that not? It's really hard to tell if that did not bake correctly. Shoot. Hey, Nick. Alright, that I need to fix, because that's going to screw everything up. So, apparently, the first book I did was the one that's going to overlap the edges, and apparently, I did not. Or I accidentally overrode that at some point. Hold on a second. I had that overlap. Maybe, did I adjust that? Oops. Green, blue. Okay, we're good. That's just a little bleed over. How's everybody doing today? Okay, well, I got this fixed. And I do want it to sand. Okay. Let's... Good. One more color, I think. And there we go. So we've got our base our base colors. And we can start to work on them now. Now I'm going to start with this deeper black one. Like almost like really dark. It's not black, but it's like really dark brown. So let's find that one. And I'm gonna try throwing down a color in here that's just going to be used for the kind of like the cracking. And I'm going to see if I can do a smart mask to get a quick initial throw down and then kind of clean it up with some brushes. If not, I'll just completely hand do it. But let's see if we can save ourselves some time. That looks pretty good. Okay. I like that. Alright, so I got a good starting spot, and now... Actually, I'm probably going to turn off my backlight. Actually, Alexa, lights off. I don't know how bad it's going to mess with the... Alexa, my light's off.
Okay.
I don't think it should mess the lighting too bad. I made a little. There it goes. It auto-adjusted. Okay. The only reason is the tablet screen is very glossy, unfortunately. So it reflects the light. And actually, now that I think about it, I really shouldn't be looking down at it anyways. So let's try this. Remember the hotkeys to do this with a tablet. Okay. Come on. Oops, helps from hitting the right button. Also helps if I'm painting in my mask. There we go. This large. Actually, let me give myself a roughness map on this one, because this is getting way glossier than I need it. I'd rather just be able to see the base color. Okay, back to my paint layer. Some of these I want to be a little less broken up than it has him. I could probably play around a bit with the mask itself. I like that better. And again, it helps to be on the layer that you want to use. Your tools work. I can't remember how to move this with a tablet. It's been a while since I've used a tablet in this software. But my flow is... No, it's good. Okay. Just gonna paint these ones out. These ones are super kind of sharp and defined. Sometimes the smart masks save you a ton of time. Like over here, this is gonna save me a lot of time. But over here, I have to paint them out. Still decently nice time saver to give me the look I'm going for, but okay. So let's back to white. Oops, forgot my flows off. Probably jumping a lot between dust and fibers, be my guess. There's fiber. Fiber sparse. That is not sparse enough. fine. Oops. Come on. Sometimes this... God, do what I want you to do. There we go. Although, really? Hold on. I should be doing this. Particular detail as a separate layer. How do I want to do this? Okay. So now this black mask, and if I'm painting in this, even make this a little bit darker. Hold on. There we go. I didn't get a good color match. Now I can kind of have this push in a bit. So, get my cracks and stuff that way. And then I'm also going to do that over here, but I just wanted to have a separate control for that. So this one, because these are wearing away from the surface, I do want them to just ever so slightly eat into it. Just like that. Maybe it'll be still a little strong. Okay, I can do that now. And this one, I am going to bring the value down just a pinch. Oops. Oop. Not doing that. Is that 0.6? I guess I'll just go to a straight black. Closer to what I want. racks at the bottom here. And I'm trying a basic soft brush. Just oh, that's way too much. Oh, actually, I want the shape off for that too. Whoa. I'm just giving a little bit of subtle shading to it, but again, it's also affecting the height, so it's kind of helped to sculpt those normals at the same time. Ooh, that was not what I wanted to do. And maybe we're gonna bring down the opacity range. There we go. So let's go back to working on our scratches. And back to dust, or dirt one. Oops. Sometimes this shrinking brush control drives me crazy. When you're using a tablet. Hey dude, been watching a little on YouTube. First stream I've caught. Blight Plays. Well, thanks for joining and catching a stream and hanging out. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask. This I'm working on. If you caught them on the streams on YouTube, you probably haven't seen me working on this particular material. I used the whatchamacallit. Oops, helps if I'm in the paint layer again. I used the Twitch-based streaming thing, or like music service for streaming, and both Twitch and YouTube started blocking content because of copyright, but it's supposed to also be copyright friendly, so I stopped using that. But that particular stream was the one I started working on this. So this is going to be a decal for bookshelves that we're going to be doing. So the plan, let me bring up lantern, is to see if we want to do, or how we want to do things that are going to be on like bookshelves or potentially stuff in the marketplace. Instead of getting really heavy on modeling, potentially doing it like old school EQ did. And there's some bookshelves in here. Although the camera in this is so ridiculously fast. Hard to get good angles sometimes. Alright, there we go. Let me just make this bigger. So, the the way they did it was, this is essentially just a rectangle. A box, kind of elongated into a rectangular shape. And, just the texture painted on. So what I'm thinking about is trying to get, either using the trim sheet that I already did, or potentially actually creating a texture that's more specifically for a bookshelf. That way we can have some, like, well, I guess I could do the boards this way, but if we wanted, like, ornate, like, wood carvings or something like that, we could have that on there as well. But essentially, these trims would be on planes floating just like a fraction of a unit in front. So if this is like the desk facing, or the bookshelf facing forward, the plane would be just in front of it, so it'll look like it was attached. So that's kind of what I'm doing today. This is just kind of taking the texture that I baked in a previous one. So right now, it's got normals and stuff like that, in case we want to use normals, which we have been using, on a limited basis. In terms, when I mean limited, mostly in terms of how strong they are. But that's all kind of baked in from Geo that I modeled last week. Nito, don't mean to derail you. Thank you for indulging me. Oh, no, feel free to ask any question, whether, it's about the game or what I'm working on specifically. That's kind of why I do these streams. And I try to do stuff during the streams. One, that you guys don't have to sit there and, like, wait for stuff to bake, because that's really boring to watch. But, I also try to do stuff that's not going to be, like, super important if I get derailed from. This is probably going to take me longer than I'm going to be streaming today. I'll probably stream, till around 3. But that's kind of the plan. So don't keep saying feel free to ask anything that comes to mind. So I think what I'm going to do today is mostly the kind of scuff marks. I do think I want to do one more. Oops. Damage. Layer 1. Damage. And this one, black that mask out so it's not affecting anything currently. And for anybody who's new to the stream and new to the project, we're working on an indie MMO called Monsters and Memories, which is very classic EQ inspired. classic late 90s, early 2000s MMO inspired is probably the better way of putting that. But I specifically am working on the environment art, and because we're going with that old school aesthetic, it has been a little bit of experimentation in terms of... This helps if I have it. There we go. But it has been a little bit of a experimentation on how we want to hit that classic feel, but also make it feel a little bit updated at the same time. So... the torches, I imagine I'll probably redo the torches in terms of like what they look like, and then probably use them, but maybe less dynamic ones than we have currently. And I do not like that color. There we go. Yeah, but probably less dynamic, because I noticed in a couple areas, I think the dynamic ones are causing some of those light bleeding issues that were, you know, like by the wizard. By the wizard class building, and then the area that I was playing around, the little secret area that I don't think anybody's found yet, that I was playing with, I had to remove some of the torches because they were giving away that there was secrets, because they were bleeding through the floor. Awesome, I was just making a planning doc of sorts last night to propose. I had torches revamped, campfire creation on the bucket list. Actually, campfires was one of the next thing I was actually thinking about doing, because that shouldn't take too long to do. And then, you know, having ones that are just kind of sit. So I'm thinking having one that is not lit, so it's just kind of the, you know, the logs set up in whatever, you know, a teepee or a log cabin or whatever style we want to go with, and then having a one that is already burnt, so, you know, kind of charcoaly, and then probably taking that same kind of charcoal burnt material and then adding an emissive that has like embers and heat kind of panning across it, maybe. So the log texture itself actually plays into our fire materials. But that was definitely actually one of the things I was thinking about last weekend. that layer. I'm just gonna get rid of it. Let's move on to another one. I'm going to do it this way because it is easier to move around in 2D. Oh shoot. That was not what I wanted to do. I was in the wrong layer. Okay. That up real easy with the... There we go. Oh, the book was over there. We're good. This is the layer I want to paint. Oops. Helps if I'm using the paintbrush and not the polyfill. I figured somebody would cheat if I mentioned it. Yeah, I was playing around with how tight of a space we can get away with tucking content areas into there, and that was a very tight space. It didn't give me a whole lot of room to do much. But I think it's actually fairly... It works fairly well for what it is. Cat room confirmed. You never know, there might be a cat room. Or maybe instead of a cat room, we'll have a dog room. Or a danger needle room. Will you be doing any of the weapons or armor as well, Paytas? Hoping you will include some of that into the something like that. To the Nito glowing shield, the froglock scythe used to drop. Excuse me. Oh man, my allergies have been terrible lately. I might help out with some of the weapons and stuff like that. I'm not sure I'll be doing much of the characters. I think that will be more Zukin, maybe a little bit of Goblin, and then the art house that we're also working with. We'll be doing the bulk of that stuff. So I'll be doing mostly environment art, and then I probably will do some prop art, weapons art, that type of thing, if needed. But those are my, I don't know, comfort zone, or just I enjoy doing them more. Not that I won't help out if needed, but I don't believe there's any plans right now for me to do that. In crack rate. Oops, and I did not mean to break that off my panel. Just wanted to make it larger. Come on. Oops. Helps if I'm painting it and not erasing it. That's what? Did you feel like the miss rate might have been too high in our playtest? It was high, but also I'm used to missing at low levels with archery, which I was doing a lot. And I only noticed it against like yellows. The reds, I definitely was missing a ton. But I think, you know, at that level, missing against reds is probably more of something that, you know, should happen. I think against against the whites and blues, it was fine. It might have been a pinch high against yellows, but that's just kind of a ballpark feel, I guess, that I had on it. Oops, again, helps if I'm on the right layer. Apparently that's the theme of tonight's, or not tonight's, this afternoon's stream. Just painting on the wrong layers. Let's add a little bit more. Oops. scripts if I'm using them correct. Tool. It feels a bit too high and punishing against whites, yellows, and low reds. Yeah, maybe low reds, it might feel a little too punishing. I don't know the level range of those zombies and that mummy, but I don't think I hit the mummy once when we were trying to kite it, that first one. So if that was if that was a low red, I would definitely say that it was probably too high there. And yellows, I can definitely see being too high. Whites, honestly, I don't know. Whites didn't feel too bad, but the DPS did seem a little low compared to what I was doing, you know, let's say in like the dungeon. I think it was hitting around, you know, like 1 DPS, and I think that was hitting below even on whites. It was definitely hitting below it on yellows, I noticed. This edge. Blur it out? Probably not. Probably not actually. Yeah, I'm gonna have to paint it. That's right. I think you identified the bug with provoke. Is that what? I'm trying to remember. Is that why you disabled taunting, or taunt specifically? Was to kind of help isolate that. It did. When I would remember to taunt the correct, like when I was trying to, you know, keep aggro on 2 things last night, there was one time where I just kept taunting the wrong thing. I got into like a vicious feedback loop as I'd like go over to attack something, want to off or taunt it, and then I'd accidentally hit taunt before I'd flip over, and then I'd be sitting there going, "Oh shoot, now I can't taunt it." But taunt, at least for me, was working to at least grab aggro. My problem was I actually using it on the mob I wanted to use it on. Oh, and see how... Okay. There's also silly aggro rules when casting right now. We probably need to adjust so that a lot of casts are aggro. I was actually surprised also, and again, you know, it's probably just because I'm thinking EQ in the back of my head. I was surprised on some of the light blue and white mobs when I was actually hitting decently with the bow. I was pulling aggro, which I'm not used to doing with bows in EverQuest. But there was a couple times I ripped aggro right off of Zukin without even casting anything. Yeah, caster aggro does make it entertaining to be a tank. I said warrior. I guess warrior would work too, but tanks in general. That's good. Actually, I probably should do that over here, the other one. Where'd that other one go? They just put the low lights and never kind of highlighted the edges. Pretty good. Yeah, caster aggro is cool. Just has strange functionality at the moment, but it's something we can experiment with to create something new and unique there too. Just needs to get it feeling right first before experimenting, suppose. Traditional aggro rules, etc. Oh yeah, I'm sure that stuff, you know, as we play around with the different classes and the different abilities, some things are going to be adjusted. I mean, I even remember some adjustments happening to live EverQuest when I, you know, initially started playing, and that was what I started playing in Lukeland. So I think that is pretty common to do little adjustments here and there, especially, you know, at the point where we're at. Oop, I did not want to rotate that. He also gave the shamans. I was wondering, I'm like, I didn't notice them casting anything. Because I kept sitting there like, oh, this isn't going to be fun if they're healing each other. Will be interesting to try that camp again. Yeah, for sure. Bronson, welcome to the channel. Nice little substance painter. Yep, yeah, I'm working on a texture for the bookshelves in our game. Are you both new to the channel and new to the project, or just kind of checking out one of the streams for the first time? to another. Oops, I am upside down. You fairly new? Awesome. Well, welcome. Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, there's been a nice influx of people on the Discord lately, which is awesome, too. So you're at least kind of familiar with the project, then. So my streams are generally the environment art streams. And what I'm doing today is, again, kind of painting these books that will eventually be used as trims. Kind of like... Oh, did I close it? Darn it, I closed it. Let me bring it back up real quick. And I know Freeport West has one right... Where is it? Freeport West. So there should be one in here. Question is, can I get the camera to line up? But, so EQ did a lot of the stuff that was on shelves just as kind of images painted on textures. So I'm trying to play around with the idea of using, you know, simple geometry like this with a... Let's go into 3D view. With a, kind of like a trim sheet that I can put in front of the shelf. You know, just floating in front of it so that we can have different books. So I've just got a couple, and this is more, you know, a trial and error type of a thing to see if this is how we want to do it. To, you know, kind of get that classic feel, but then, you know, the little bit of extra shading and stuff on it kind of pushes it into a little bit more of a modern. Kind of, again, playing around with the balance between the modern and the classic look. Or, you know, keeping the classic look, but making it feel modern, I guess, is the better way to put that. So, yeah, it's kind of what I'm doing, just kind of working on these. And I did the books in a previous stream, which you can catch in the VOD if you want to watch me model the books and bake the initial maps. But if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask at, you know, I'll answer anything I know. Nick's also hanging out in chat, so he can answer some of the things that I'm not as familiar with. Oh, why am I painting this one? That's the one I need to fix. Let's soften these. Oh, that's right. Why is this taking so long? It's 'cause my flow, I turned it down. So, are you starting with 3D Geo and then burning down the normals here in Substance? Yeah, so I did these normals were baked in Substance from... Do I have that open? No, I do not have it open. From the High Poly Geo. So I just built a, you know, a simple plane. It's got a little bit of tessellation to it, just to kind of break them up individually. And then it is baked in here. And then I made the ID map. I just used transfer maps in Maya. Because the amount of extra, like, workaround stuff to get the maps, the material ID maps to work in Substance drives me crazy. So I just always bake it in Maya. Yep, Yeah, and then I'll bring these planes back into Maya. And, well, I won't bring the plane back into Maya. I'll probably just attach the material to the planes in Maya, break them apart, and then make some variations on the bookshelves. I'm trying to decide whether I want to... It's probably going to be easier for me to do it in Maya and just make a bunch of different variations of the bookshelf. Excuse me. I'm fighting hiccups right now for some reason. Even though I haven't, like, eaten or drinking anything today. But I think it's probably going to be easier to align that stuff in Maya than it is going to be to align it in Unity. Because I know, like, ProBuilder has a snap to vertice function, but I think it's broken in the version of the engine we're using, so I can't actually do that. But that's kind of the plan. And then if it works, I'll probably make a couple different other sheets of, you know, some of them are scrolls, or we'll probably end up doing similar things with, like, the marketplace. So, like, the wares and stuff that, you know, NPCs are putting on display to sell. That type of stuff would probably be done in a similar manner. But this is just kind of the initial trial on how it's going to look and how we want to handle it. Because we're trying to keep a lot of a lot of negative space and not over model everything. Which, granted, I mean I'm modeling these, but they're not coming in as models. Why is there that gray? Is that in my... I'm gonna have to clean that up and... Shoot. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean that up. In Photoshop. Let's take a look. Huh. It's not there. Snapping that off. Let's see. Where is this showing up? The ID map. Is solid. There. Need to figure out where this white layer is. No. Have you tried Edgeware Generator? I found it useful for getting some quick results. Yeah, actually, you look at here, this is all edge generated. So it gives me some quick results, and I'm just kind of going back in and cleaning up. It's a little too strong on this edge. So I keep kind of going through and then repainting it back in. But it does give me kind of the initial look that I want. So I'm getting a little bit of fiber grain and stuff in there. So it's definitely speeding it up. But I'm just kind of playing around with the one book right now. And I'm going to move to the other ones. Although the other ones are going to be handled a little bit differently. So just kind of playing around with it. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm getting this white from. There we go. And we'll go back to this one. That's better. Do you have any other ones? The orange one looks like it's doing it too. Blue is also doing it. Oh yeah, no, Substance Painter is amazing. It makes life way, way more efficient when it comes to painting. And I love the brushes and stuff that it has too. And my favorite's probably the dirt brush. I use it so much. Yeah, I've tried 3D Code. It's been a while since I've used it. And that last time I probably used it was... God, it's got to be like 3 or 4 years now. But one of my coworkers really loves it. Although I believe he's switched over to ZBrush at this point. But he does use it for more like hand-painted textures. You mainly use it to UV? I still use Maya. I think it's just because I've just gotten so efficient at how their UV system works, and so it's just the fastest way for me to kind of get what I'm going for. So I'm trying to draw over to my other window. This has to be one of my favorite songs from Planes of Power. What other programs besides 3D Coat do you prefer using? You don't know the song? This is the Plane of Time song from Everquest. Oh yeah, actually, when I'm not on stream, I'm usually, oh my god, my tongue, I can't speak today. I'm usually either watching some sort of, like, documentary, usually on, like, ancient ruins or, like, stuff like that, or I'm listening to Everquest music. But on stream, I think this is the first time I've actually put an Everquest playlist on. I'll frequently just put the Keltham theme on loop to keep myself in the classic mindset. Depends on what you're working on. Started in ZBrush or start in ZBrush and Max, then 3D Coat and Retopo, then go into Substance for texturing. Yeah, I think that's fairly common with most of us who do 3D art. It just depends on what you're doing. I have a couple different workflows, depending on what I'm doing. I might sculpt it. I might just do a real quick high poly box model with some bevels and smoothing, or it just kind of depends on what I'm doing. Like, these books were just basically box modeled cubes that I just beveled the edges of real quickly. I don't like that's getting too repetitive. Let's There's too much waste. There's a little bleeding over there. Let's see if I can get that out. Shit, looks like I doubled those up. Orange. Going on. Oh, is it because that's the tolerance. Shoot. There we go. Just gotta pay attention and not look at the only. I'm not jumping. That's better. There you go. Not losing all the colors now. Now I have another project to get excited for. Yeah, it's definitely one that sparked my interest the second I found out about it. And then it just, everything happened to line up at the right time, and the team needed someone who could do environments and stuff, so I hopped on board. I had to fix that one anyways. Okay, there we go. But yeah, no, it's definitely a fun project for sure, and you know, it legit, as someone, I mean, obviously, you know, I have a connection to it, but it definitely is giving that that classic feel when you play it, which is awesome, because that's been something you know, an itch that I've been trying to scratch for years. It's awesome to be on part of a team that is striving to deliver that experience that a lot of people that I know that used to play these games would love to kind of see come back. And not just like on, you know, P99 or a TLP, because, you know, yeah, you're getting the nostalgic feel to a degree, but also, you know, same type of feel to the game, but also having its own new experience, so the adventure is kind of there all over again. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna fall back into my, I'm gonna run to Crushbone, now I'm gonna go run over to Unrest, and then I'm gonna go run to this and that, and like have, you know, an exact formulaic plan. Definitely hope this and Pantheon really take off. Yeah, no, yeah, I'd like to see both succeed. I think there needs to be more entries into that kind of experience. Make it almost like a sub-genre of MMOs. That classic feel. MMO. Do you have any class or race combo that you're really anticipating wanting to play? Absolutely, MMOs have become too complicit and far too action for my taste. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily hate having some action-based ones, but it's to me, it's like everybody's trying to do that, or everybody, you know, there's nothing separating things anymore. They all kind of just feel the same. Like I had a blast playing New World the first couple weeks, but you know, the wonder kind of fell off of that one fairly quickly. Not to rag on it too bad, but I still kind of play it occasionally with my son. But you want to relax your hand while playing for hours? Yeah. Yeah, no, I get you. It's nice to be able to, like, look away from your hotbar every now and then to be able to get some stuff, you know, done, or to be able to, like, look away for half a second. You're a fan of Rogue for Pantheon, but in EQ you mained a Druid. Awesome. You mained Nick mained a Druid and a Rogue in EQ, so there'll be OP in MM. I boxed a Druid for a bit when I came back to play EQ on live. Oh God, probably 5 or 6 years ago. Normally I box a Ranger and a Shaman, but I was playing with my one real-life friend who would still occasionally plays, and he was maining a Shaman, so it seemed kind of dumb to make a Shaman, and I just wanted someone to port me around and be able to throw heals and dots, so that was why I did that. Shaman definitely is better box choice than a Druid for a Ranger, though. Looking forward to a game with a Stabby Goblin or Deep Gnome something. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing something as a Deep Gnome. I haven't decided what yet, but the design I've really fallen in love with. Goblin did a great job with them. I also kind of want like a glow-in-the-dark sticker of their eyes. I think that'd be kind of a cool thing to do in the merch store. Slap it on the car as a bumper sticker. Buy one for your fridge. Oh yeah, no, that was one of the things that really sold me on that design was the eyes, and just the idea of being you know, in the deep and coming around a corner and seeing all these little glowing eyes staring at you with kind of like, if they're backlit by something, like a really low intensity light. Just so creepy and cool. The imagery that put in my head immediately, I was like, oh god, those are gonna be so cool. So creepy to just like run around a corner and be like, oh, there's a bunch of little glowing eyes moving around. You hope the character models follow the concept. Yeah, that's definitely what we are going to be striving for. I guess I'm trying to think of the right word for that. Is to have them, go off of the race designs. We've even played around a couple with a couple of the different races. Just taking the initial Halt model we have and tweaking the geo to kind of fit the other races, and it's worked fairly well. I mean, they're very rough and need to be refined. But we were just kind of playing around, or Zukin and Goblin were kind of playing around with them, and they were working for the most part. Love the EQ. Jesus, I cannot speak today. The EQ comment music. I need this playing whenever I go to the grocery shopping. Yeah, I am definitely a fan of the Everquest music. Shoot, I'm going to have to play with that again, too. I'll tweak that later. I just want to finish working on these. I'm not working on the paper area yet. But yeah, definitely love EQ music, especially up through Planes of Power. The classic and up to Planes of Power was pretty good. It's weird though, kind of listening to going and running around and hearing the Lukeland music, because I don't remember there being the Lukeland music back in the day. So I'm like, whoa, the Bazaar has music now. And some of those songs, like I said earlier, Kelthan, and the second I hear the Kelthan theme, it immediately throws me back into that nostalgic mindset. Super identifiable and instantly just throws you right back. You bowed after Lukeland. That was about, like I said, that was the time that I finally got to get into the game. When I was younger, right when it came out, we had dial-up, and I think my parents just used it as an excuse because they didn't want to pay for it. And I was young enough that I didn't have a job at the time. And I remember my father worked a weekend second job at CompUSA, so we'd go in there and I would just sit there and either stare at graphics cards or stare at the Everquest box, and I was like, oh man, this game's gonna be so cool, I really want to play it. And then the first thing I did when we got DSL, I also had just started my first job in high school, or not my first job, but my first like job that I was getting like regular pay. The first thing I did is ran out and bought EverQuest. But like I said, that was, you know, towards the end of Lukeland. But and then I slowly added the other expansions, but I just basically played with the classic discs for the first couple months. Or the first month or so. I did get Lukeland for the Nexus and all that. Because everyone's like, go there to get a port. Do you guys have a favorite classic era zone in EverQuest? I think mine's gonna be a fairly common one, but I'll let you guys answer first. Rivervale is a good zone. I always loved running over there, and then like, man, running through Kithakor on, you know, the other side of it. Jesus, that used to terrify me. That's another thing I miss about modern games. You just don't get that kind of like absolutely horrifying area to run through. Everything's so designated to different levels, specifically. Nagafin's Lair was your go-to dungeon. Greater Fadar, Crushbone. Crushbone's definitely my favorite newbie. I'm a big fan of Unrest as well, but that I didn't actually play in Unrest initially. I went when I first started leveling. Way back in the day, I went to High Pass and killed goblins to level up. Don't tell Goblin. But my favorite's probably Guck. Lower Guck. I loved that zone. Also, City of Mist was another big zone that I loved going around in. Me and my friend who played the Shaman like single-handedly destroyed the economy for all of the named drops, minus like the Jade Reaver and stuff, because we weren't strong enough to do that, which is two of us back in the day. But we completely trashed the value of all of this stuff on Praxis because we kept going there and just farming it. And everything plummeted. Because that's all we did. Karner's Castle, yeah. Gotta love the old KC trains. big fan of the way this one's turning out. This book specifically. Patterned. Enjoyed running through Lesser Fate Arc and crapping my pants past the brownie camp. Yeah, the brownie camp was scary. Damn brownies used to murder me all the time. Actually, I killed them. I killed a bunch of them on stream a couple months ago, or maybe a month or so ago. Yeah, it's like my first stream, so it was like a little over a month ago. I was working on some scale geo for the various races, and the gnome one was feeling kind of too small. So I was like, I think it might work for like a brownie if we ever had like, you know, something similar to them in our game. And we ran over there to look at the scale of their stuff, and it was actually pretty accurate. And then they all aggroed on me, and I murdered them. It's starting to look a little bit cleaner. Mistmore is also another fun zone. But I definitely think Guck was my favorite back in the day. Yeah, Plane of Hate is definitely a cool theme to do. And Fear is cool. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but Fear literally, like, was a very fearful experience. Like, I remember breaking through and, like, you know, breaking through in an undermanned group and just being constantly, like, on edge the entire time I was there. Which, you know, is fun, in my opinion. Such a crazy zone, yeah, definitely. Especially if you were undermanned. Yeah, Guck is still great. Yeah, and Unrest is another one of my favorites. Before I got on this project, I was actually thinking about redoing a couple EQ zones. Crushbone was going to be the first one, and then I also wanted to touch up Plane of Disease and make it actually like look like the ground itself was like diseased. But I never got around to doing that. But the other one that I was playing around with besides those two was doing Unrest. Because I thought playing around with the mansion would be kind of fun. And then throwing it in Unreal 5. I will say Unrest is not fun if you're boxing characters. When me and my brother were playing, we were both 3-boxing because my son didn't want to play at the time. And man, when you go down into the basement, the punting is so annoying to have to sit there and like readjust multiple characters like every couple seconds. That was not fun. But other than that, I love that zone. That one looks pretty good. Alright, let me bring up another color. Let's find these tan ones. Something else is covering up something. Blue, red. There we go. This one? Yep. Okay, let's grab that. And let's give ourselves another fill. And we will take this one. Darker brown. Eventually I think I'm going to overlay some grunge maps and stuff on these as well, and maybe play around with a little bit of the normal, because the normal's pretty relaxed right now. It's just the little kind of ribs and the book themselves, but maybe getting some like kind of crinkled papery type look to it eventually. But this one is going to be a black mask, and maybe I'll throw an initial smart mask down on this, but really lightly. Nope, don't like that. Mind that, but this color is not going to work for it. Giving the bind or giving the bind a bit of a bulge might make the normal read more. Yeah, I think I'm gonna add that stuff later. Right now, I'm just more worried about just kind of getting some color on here to get a good look at it. But I definitely wanna get a little bit more of a bulge in that. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. Just kind of taking this part of the spine and kind of raising it up. I did make them kind of flat, although it didn't look as flat as this, but I obviously just need to exaggerate it a little bit more. But I need to fix the ID map for this part anyways, so I'm going to have to rebake it, because I don't think this model even has... Maybe we can look at the normal. Oops. Yeah. This model, this book, I didn't realize it rotated. So I'm either going to rotate it back, or I'm going to fix it so that this actually has the kind of extrusion in here. But some of these books definitely need... I want some that are flatter, but I think they're reading overall too flat. So I'll fix that when I go back in to clean that up. But most of the stuff that I'm doing on the base color, I should be able to bring over fine. Alright, what was I doing? Oh yeah, playing with this color. Isn't too bad. Yeah, I love seeing how much I can get out of a flat plane with a normal. It's amazing. Yeah. Normal maps can get you so much detail so easily. What I'm gonna have to play around with is how I want. Come on, move. There we go. To do the little inlets here. You know, where it would normally be extruded in. I'm trying to think, do I want to bake that detail in and then distort or you know, have that as a decal as well? Or do I want to make another texture that has that kind of stuff baked into it? So, I'm going to have to play around with that. But this part, you know, getting it where it's just the book sitting in front, it is definitely going to be fairly easy to do. I just want the stuff to kind of be more finished before I bring it in. Okay, so that's not too bad. Gives me a little bit of noise. Let's copy that one again, and where is my image? Like this dirty... Oh. Dirty brown color. That's a little too red. Yeah, there. Want this above. And maybe I'll put this above. Here. Or no, I'll do this as... Check that out. Painting real quick. And overlay maybe? I think darken works. Need to get rolling, guys. Keep up the great work, Betis. Thank you. You know, feel free to hop on in. You know, I stream Wednesdays this time and also Monday nights, so feel free to do that. And you know, if you want to follow the channel, it also sends you links. Oh, also apparently I don't have my sounds on. I'll have to fix that. Thank you for the follow, Cadron. Hopefully you're still here. It was 20 minutes ago, but I didn't have the alert sound go off, so I totally missed it. But thank you for hanging out, Brosen. Hopefully see you again soon. Actually, I'm actually going to probably head out soon. I just want to get this set up at least, because I am starving, and I just realized it's already 3 o'clock. And I need some food, and I haven't watched the first episode of Book of Boba yet, and I really need to watch that before I start seeing spoilers. Light players, have you considered researching the bridging of some famous rare books and putting them on the shelves like an Easter egg? Those books are coming along really good. Thank you. I have not, but I may, if it at some point, throw in some Easter egg type stuff like that. But I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, I wouldn't be putting titles and stuff on there. I might do like homages to things. But for now, I'm trying to keep these fairly generic. And then I might do one of the finishing steps. It helps if I grab click it with the right button. One of the finishing steps is I'll probably do some like gilding on some of these areas. But I'll do that on a layer for across all the books for the most part. So some of this more like ornate stuff should be super simple to do. For instance, I could just do a layer here, and we'll turn off this stuff, and let me grab a nice gold color. And then basic hard brush and grab my alphas. So, you know, I'm arbitrarily just grabbing this one, but you can super simply just start kind of decorating these. And then we're not necessarily using all this extra fancy stuff, but you know, I can... Well, it helps if I'm on the layer and not that. We can use this to... Is that not actually... Oh, I did roughness. I want height. So, you know, I can have it kind of like pushed down in there. Although that's a little extreme. Could even do, you know, fancy shiny stuff, but we don't want shiny stuff, so that will not be used. But stuff like that can give a, you know, a decent decorative touch. And, you know, this could even be not affecting the color all that much, so that that doesn't look good, because it's just a low resolution. But I'll probably do that type of stuff to decorate it without titles. Unless there's some sort of like lore-based book that we want to hide on a shelf or something like that. Like a first edition Dante's Inferno. Might just have a symbol, not a title. Yeah, symbols and stuff like that would be the way to go for that. I think if you thought of a monster manual on there, it would be favorable. I think that would probably sit... I think I'm putting, like, a monster manual, unless there's a really nicely bound one that isn't more of the just kind of natural, like, one you'd go and buy. I'm sure there are ones out there. I don't have any reference to it in my head. But I think that would probably stick out a little bit from the leather-bound books that I'm doing. Looks really good. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Oops, helps if I am on the correct layer. Friend follow would probably be nice. Addition as well. Or Fiend Folio. There we go. Sorry. Bring out a little bit of highlight in some of these areas. What I'm using right now, I'm just using a brush. It's actually like one of my favorite brushes in this entire program. It's just dirt. But it essentially just throws down this shape randomly based off of my... I have it right now just to set up pen pressure, but I can also set it up to do scale. But it gives a real nice variety. I use it for dirt and rust and grains, and I use it for so much stuff when I'm in Substance Painter. Although sometimes it gets a little too blurry, like right here. And then sometimes I'll have to go in with other brushes, but it's a great way to just get real quick splotchy variation. And then I'm just painting into the mask itself, so I'm just revealing this brown color based off of a grayscale that we can't actually see. I mean, I guess you can, it's just really tiny right there. this way a little bit. It's getting too splotchy for me. It's easier to actually use. I'm pretty good. Probably end up working in another tone into this at some point. And again, once I kind of overlay some kind of like crinkling and stuff, like kind of like this, I'll probably go back in and touch up some of these layers to get better highlights and stuff like that to kind of follow the contour of the way the book would be. But for now, this is working. This one I definitely need to bring up the spine a little bit on, because it's looking super flat. Gary says one of the doors doesn't have a hinge sign. He's putting a ticket in. They should all be using the door as the hinge currently. But I'll take a look at it. But if it actually straight up needs that empty actor just named Hinge, I can always put that back in there too. It'll just be a little bit of a pain in the butt to get it where I want it for each door. Is it causing any weird interaction or anything like that you know of, Nick? Send it to me on Slack. I'll take a look at it. I'm probably going to wrap up the stream in a couple minutes anyways. Because my stomach is growling. Alright, this is the last one I need to... After I finish painting this one, I'm gonna wrap up the stream for the day. New Year's Eve plans? No, unfortunately. I'm actually going on a fairly long car ride to pick my sons up from their mother's place New Year's Day. So I will probably be getting to bed early on New Year's Eve. So I'm not like half asleep while I'm driving. Because that'll be what I'll be spending most of my New Year's Day doing, is driving cross state to go pick them up. Do you guys have anything fun planned for New Year's Eve? Or New Year's Day as well? New Year's Day evening is could basically be Christmas here, because my sons will be back, so I'll be doing the Christmas thing with them. I don't like this one, but I'm also kind of feel like I need to take a step back from it for a little bit. I think this one and this one need to be kind of touched up on a little bit, but I'll get around to doing that next time I sit back down to work on this. Alright guys, let me save. So thank you for hanging out with me. If anybody is still here that is not aware of our game, this link is to our website. You can find out more about it. The game's called Monsters and Memories. It's a indie MMO that is very heavily inspired by classic late 90s, early 2000s MMOs. Like Everquest is a huge inspiration, obviously. And then if you want to join our Discord, all the devs are in there. We have all sorts of fun conversations about the game specifically, or just about game design in general, or other games. So feel free to join that. If you haven't already, you can join our mailing list, so you'll get updates when we send out updates. It'll also be tied to beta, so if you want to help test out at some point, the mailing list will be important there, so make sure to join that. And then we have other members of the team that are streaming as well. A Loving Robot, Zook and Scopes, and the Goblin Works all will stream occasionally with different aspects of our game and the development. So feel free to follow their, or check out their channels as well. Other than that, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate all the follows and chats and all that. And I will talk to you guys later.